Hello and welcome to another episode of Superpowers. I'm really excited today because I have somebody with me who, it's a different sort of superpower. His superpower is really intellect and genius, and his name is Tom Paladino. And Tom is working with a kind of energy that has been around and people have been exploring and discovering. Nikola Tesla was one who worked a lot with this, and it's called scalar energy. And I love to hear Tom talk about this because Tom really falls into that definition of what Albert Einstein used to say. He used to say, you don't really fully understand something unless you can explain it to your grandmother. Well, Tom could totally explain scalar energy to my grandmother. He can actually explain it to me, too. So I'm excited to have him here. I have co-host Shelia Gale here, too, Shelia from The Shelia Show. And Shelia has brought Tom to visit with us today. So we'll just jump in and say hello to both of them. So hello, Shelia.
Carl, happy Friday. How are you?
Thank you. I love Fridays. I get very excited for Fridays.
I do, too.
Me too.
And we have with us Tom Paladino. And Shelia, can you just introduce Tom for us?
I would love to introduce Tom Paladino to you. Tom's research and work with scalar energy began in his undergraduate years. He was inspired by lots of scientists, Morey, especially Nikola Tesla, as to the existence of an alternative energy other than electricity called scalar energy. It's also known as prana, chi, zero-point energy. And Tom has been researching this for about 30 years now. And he is an inventor, and he's invented an instrument that actually can harness this scalar energy and do amazing things with it, especially with people and with pathogens. And I'm going to let him explain to you how that all works. But please welcome one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, the brilliant Tom Paladino, scalar energy expert. Hi, Tom.
Thank you, Shelia. What a grand opening. Thank you. Carl, likewise, thank you. Great to be here. As Shelia mentioned, I research with scalar energy. And many of you are familiar with scalar energy. We call that chi or prana. Many of you will recognize that as zero-point energy or ether. It's all around us. The stars create scalar energy and propagate that throughout the universe. Well, I've had good success in harnessing scalar energy. Now, there's two energies in the universe. We have the electromagnetic spectrum, electricity and magnetism. We all understand that. But there's a second energy, and many people who have that foresight realize that there is another energy in the universe, scalar energy. Well, I've focused my life studying this energy, this alternative energy, scalar energy. And in my estimation, it has great promise. Frankly, I think scalar energy has greater promise than that of electricity. And that if mankind were to incorporate scalar energy in our everyday lives, it would advance the welfare of the world. My contention is scalar energy will catapult mankind forward significantly. So that's our discussion today. We want to focus on this alternative energy.
Tom, is just for the benefit of the folks on Streaming for the Soul who may not be familiar with you yet. They're going to know you like a household name pretty soon here. But can you talk a little bit about just what some of the distinctions might be between electromagnetic energy, which everybody gets, and scalar energy, which I think is probably sort of a new form and a new idea for some people?
Sure. Let's compare and contrast the two energies. The electromagnetic spectrum is wonderful, but it has its drawbacks. For instance, electricity experiences entropy. It will weaken. Whereas, in contrast, scalar energy does not experience entropy. It does not weaken. So with that statement, we can observe and consider that if we were to incorporate scalar energy around the world, we would have a source of energy that would not weaken. In other words, we've achieved the steady state with scalar energy. It serves as an infinite supply of energy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if the stars produce and propagate scalar energy around the universe, scalar energy is omnipresent. We don't have to rely upon fossil fuels. We don't have to rely upon a power plant. The power plant with scalar energy is the universe. That's the beauty of this energy. It's pure, clean energy. It's the energy of the universe. And all we have to do is tap it. All we have to do is recognize that energy and find a way to harness it. Well, I'm along that way. I can harness scalar energy. And in so doing, I can do incredible things with scalar energy. So with that in consideration, what do we have? Well, scalar energy offers us an infinite supply of energy. No longer do we have to deal with the oil crisis, the energy crisis. We have an infinite supply of energy. Secondly, scalar energy is clean energy. There's no pollution to it. It does not leave a footprint. Scalar energy will allow us to broadcast this energy anywhere in the world. We don't need satellites. We don't need substations. We don't need power plants. We don't need telephone wires. We don't need transformers. We simply can take energy from one location and broadcast it to another location. It's a clean and efficient way of delivering energy. Now, you put all this together and you consider the ramifications. Scalar energy, once it is incorporated by the world, by mankind, will drastically change our lives for the better, significantly. And that's my pursuit. That's where I come in. I want to introduce this alternative form of energy, scalar energy, far, far superior to that of electricity, far superior to that of any coal-driven engine, far superior to that of gasoline, nuclear, etc. Scalar energy is the energy of the universe, and it will serve mankind, and again will serve to drastically improve our lives. And that day is coming, and it's coming soon.
What Tom has been doing, I mean, you just think of the implications and possibilities with this energy. It's so exciting. But what Tom has been able to do is just amazing with the pathogens and viruses. And Tom, if you give us an example of that and then explain how you use people's photographs and can actually disassemble pathogens in their body.
Sure. Let me start with an analogy. Many of you are familiar that a vocalist, a singer, can take glass and shatter glass with their voice. Singers have been able to shatter glass by projecting the same resonating frequency into a glass. That's known as the law of resonance. Well, in principle, I work with the same law of resonance, if you will, with scalar energy. I'm able to take scalar energy and project scalar energy into a germ. Now, scalar energy is responsible for either assembling or disassembling matter. So I can take scalar energy and project scalar energy back into a germ and essentially unbind or disassemble that germ. I do this all by way of light. Scalar light is different than that of electricity. So scalar energy allows me to control, to have mastery over germs. And in so doing, I've demonstrated this routinely many times. I am able to disassemble viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoan. It's all a painless procedure. It's an instant, it's effectuated instantly on account of the fact that this pulsation of scalar energy will instruct a virus or a bacterium, etc., to simply break apart. We are unbinding, if you will, the molecular bonds that hold together matter. Well, in so doing, I'm able to eradicate the causative agent of disease. Again, it's a painless procedure. There is no pollution associated with it. I'm working with this energy of the stars. Scalar energy originates from the stars of the universe. So it's really a win-win-win situation. I'm able to disassemble germs instantly, painlessly, and those germs are subsequently reduced to elements such as carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, as well as the toxins associated with those germs. I not only disassemble the microbe, I also disassemble the toxins associated inside that germ. All of this is done by way of light. It's a light reaction. It's not a chemical reaction. So what does this mean? It opens the door for the successful treatment of any pathogenic disease by way of scalar energy. If you can remove the cause of the disease, then the symptoms either diminish or disappear entirely.
Tom, why don't you explain to our viewers how this process looks so they can kind of get an idea?
I can treat anybody in the world by way of their photograph. And before I get into that, let me give you an analogy. With electricity, with the electromagnetic spectrum, we can have two cell phones speak to one another, or we can have a satellite that can send a signal to a radio. Well, in principle, I use that same technique with scalar energy. If two cell phones can communicate with one another, I can communicate with a person. And the way I do that is not by way of a cell phone or a satellite. I can communicate with a person by way of scalar energy by using their photograph. A photograph of a person is a light source. Everybody has a particular light source or a harmonic, a light signature. I take a photograph of a person and I will place that photograph inside my scalar energy instrument. And just as two cell phones can communicate with one another, well, I can communicate with a person. I can send a person scalar energy treatment by way of their photograph. Now, this calls to mind the concept that the universe is a hologram, that the universe is interconnected. A photograph of a person simply allows me to connect with that person. Again, the notion is that the universe is connected, concatenated. Well, I routinely treat people far away in Australia, Japan, etc., by virtue of their photograph only. So all of my treatments with scalar energy are done remotely. And it is a photograph, which again is a light signature of a person, that allows me to project that energy to them. And in so doing, I'm able to improve their health.
Hey, a question for you, Tom. Is it, in doing that, is it important to have a current photograph? Like, does our signature change over time, and so a more current photograph maybe is more useful than one from 5 years ago?
Sure, excellent question. No, the age of the photograph does not matter. Why? Because a person's light signature, my photograph is the same as far as a scalar energy harmonic. That is, whether the photograph is 20 years old or it's a current photograph. Now, I could use the analogy of DNA. My DNA is with me throughout my entire life. That DNA has a code, a signature, an intelligence about it. Well, likewise, my photograph, no matter how old it is, it's still my photograph, and it still represents my light code, my light signature. So the age of the photograph does not matter.
Another question, and this is really kind of just for clarity, because some people may not know. And I hear it a lot about how a lot can be done from the instrument or from the information, say, of a photograph, because it's a holographic universe. Can you just break that? You're very good at explaining things in a really clear way. So can you just explain why something being holographic, what the implications of that are, or what that means? Sure. Exactly?
Sure. It's very simple. Again, all the stars in the universe, the sun of our solar system included, all of the stars broadcast this scalar energy. Scalar energy is everywhere. And this scalar energy serves to connect, to form a connection between all objects in the universe. So with that in mind, the universe really is not a disparate number of particles, if you will. It's rather one homogeneous unit, one cell. Now, if we have scalar energy everywhere and scalar energy connects the entire universe, then we have instantaneous communication by way of scalar energy. If you will, these are like the lifelines that interconnect the universe. The universe is a gigantic spider web. Well, with that thought in mind, everything is indeed a matrix, a hologram. So there is no point 1 and point 2 in the universe as far as the scalar energy paradigm. Everything is one unit. So the universe is indeed a hologram the universe is capable of instantaneous communication by way of scalar energy. We have indeed a holographic universe, and once I use a scalar energy instrument, I'm able to access that scalar energy paradigm. I'm able to access that hologram. So all information in the universe is, if you will, coalesced into this matrix. That's what I can do by way of my instrument. I can send information by way of this hologram, and in so doing, I can instruct germs to break apart, germs to disassemble. This is just fascinating when you consider it. Scalar energy is the perfect information system of the universe. It is the hologram of everything. It's just mind-boggling what we can do with scalar energy.
That's actually so cool. I'm wondering now, speculation time, does that mean that if we harnessed scalar energy as our transmission mode for communication, that we could communicate between point A and point B anywhere in the universe without latency?
That's correct. That's correct. And to give you an analogy, I'm of the firm opinion, and so are many other scalar energy theorists, that telepathy is scalar energy. Or when we think, we can think of a distant object. Well, at the speed of thought, we can surmise the universe, if you will. Well, all of that is done by way of scalar energy. So scalar energy is indeed telepathy. Scalar energy is indeed a thought projection. And all of this is facilitated, all of this is effectuated by way of scalar energy. Scalar energy is the intelligence of all thoughts. Scalar energy serves to bind the universe together, to concatenate the universe together. So scalar energy really is the animating force behind everything. So if you will, again, scalar energy is that perfect information field. Everything, we talk about computers having a cloud capability. We say, well, the information is in the cloud. Well, use that analogy, but now use it on a much grander scale, on an infinite scale. Scalar energy is the cloud of the universe. All information is contained, all intelligence is contained in the cloud of scalar energy. It's everything. It's an infinite supply of information. Incredible.
Wow. Exciting, isn't it?
It really is.
It is. And you should see the testimonials that are coming in. It's amazing what Tom's work is doing for people, helping people. I had a family member that had a horrible rash. We were on our way to the dermatologist, and she said to me, after 2 days of treatment of scalar, we canceled the appointment. I'm like, what? She goes, look, completely cleared up. She's had it for like a year. Unbelievable. That's just a personal in my home. But I mean, people with genital herpes, and a woman had it for over 30 years, right? An RN, completely retested, no trace of it. There's just phenomenal. I mean, we could go on the list, but there's the website below. You can on the site, you guys can check out if you want to find out more about Tom and Tom's great work. So. Yeah, fascinating. What
really
else to talk about? Yeah, so good.
I just had a testimonial 2 days ago from another person who had herpes infection. This person went to get a diagnostic test, a PCR test. Some people call it a viral load test. Well, the test came back negative, no sign of herpes infection whatsoever. Now, why is that happening? And why is it that people are substantiating my work by way of these viral load tests, and there's no detectable trace of the virus whatsoever? Because scalar energy takes a virus or a bacterium, and then it disassembles and actually breaks apart the molecular structure of that germ. That germ no longer exists. We are taking a quantum force in nature, scalar energy, and we are redirecting, we are reprogramming the geometry of a germ. A germ, a microbe, will simply be reduced into carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. That's the fascinating part of what we're doing. It's painless. We can instantly disassemble a germ, and that germ no longer exists. We've disrupted the geometry of that microbe.
You know what's amazing about this too is that you, people don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to drive anywhere. They don't have to set up an appointment to see somebody and be in a waiting room. You know, they can email you a photograph, yes, and they can start to get relief from, you know, these various things that may be going on with them, which is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And that really calls to mind, Carl, what my dream is in the future, to be able to offer scalar energy to mankind. I could really envision in the future, I could take photographs of 100 people at a time. Well, provided you're within that photographic snapshot, I can treat 100 people at a time. Now imagine if I wanted to take a photograph of people in a baseball stadium or a football stadium. Well, I could easily treat 10,000 people with one photograph. Now, over the course of the day, and with the support of a photographic staff, I could easily treat 500,000 people a day for pathogens. And essentially, in consummate fashion, I could disassemble and eradicate those pathogens in people perhaps as many as 1 million people a day. All I need is photographs. And eventually, if I can start working with group photographs of people, well, my instrument is very efficient. I'm not going out on a limb here. I could easily treat 500,000 to 1 million people a day if a group of people provided me the photographs to do so.
That is amazing and
Yeah,
great, and obviously opening the door to the future, really, truly.
Yeah.
So now, the next thing, though, that you can do, I'm sure, because you've been saying it, if you can disassemble something, then you can probably assemble something. So let's say that now it's not a matter of a pathogen. What if it was like a deficiency, a nutrient deficiency, or something like that? I mean, can you assemble then a beneficial something for,
yes,
to treat somebody with?
Yeah, and we are doing that with great success. Scalar energy, again, is a fundamental force in nature that allows us to assemble and disassemble matter. It's a form of intelligence that will instruct a molecule to either assemble or break apart, disassemble. Well, I am using scalar energy to assemble nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, etc. And I'm quite successful at it. I am able to assemble micronutrients inside the body. I do it all by way of scalar energy. Again, scalar energy is an information system. It's much more than just energy. Energy is intelligence, it's information. And if you can understand how to use that energy, then you can use it to great benefit. Well, over the years, I've developed and perfected a technique whereby I can assemble micronutrients inside the body. So instead of, frankly, people having to take pills or supplements in order to bolster their body by this nutritional support, I can take scalar energy and instruct that scalar energy to assemble the molecules, if you will, of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants inside the body. Now, the way that works, it's quite profound, and once again, it calls to mind how scalar energy is a source of light, and scalar energy can interpret light. I can take a photograph, for instance, of vitamin B6, and I can insert that photograph of vitamin B6 inside my scalar energy instrument. Well, my instrument will pick up that binding energy, that intelligence, that harmonic, and then broadcast that intelligence into a person. So in so doing, I am broadcasting the instructions, the intelligence for vitamin B6 to form inside the human body. And that is precisely what scalar energy does. Scalar energy will start taking carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, different elements in the body, and arrange those elements into a geometry. Well, the subsequent formation, the geometric formation, will be that of vitamin B6. So I'm taking the existing elements inside the human body, and I'm telling those elements to assume a geometry, a specific structure, the molecular structure, if you will, of vitamin B6. That's how I provide nutrients. by way of scalar energy. It's profound. I'm able to transmute. The term is to be able to change one physical form into another physical form. I can take the elements of the human body, arrange those elements into a molecule, in this case, vitamin B6, all by way of scalar energy, scalar light, all by way of accessing this hologram, this infinite information system of the universe.
Right. Yeah. It's
incredible.
It is. It's
Imagine
so incredible.
what this portends to mankind. Imagine if I can have this success as one individual, as one researcher. Imagine once the world embraces this energy and really starts to uncover its mysteries. Imagine what we can do. Imagine how this will help mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom is the Nikola Tesla of the 21st century. He picks up where Tesla left off, and it's just so exciting. You know, he's making such a difference in people's lives. And again, if any of our viewers would like to have more information, learn more about Tom, communicate with Tom, find out where his next radio show is, you can just check on that link right there in front of you for more information. Yeah.
Great. So Tom, just real quick, we've gotten a little snapshot of where you came from. We've got a snapshot of where you are and what you're doing. What do you see ahead for the next 6 months to a year?
One of my primary focus, I could say right now, would be to take scalar energy and to prove that I can transfer scalar energy from one location to another. I would like to be able in the future to not only illuminate light bulbs in my laboratory, but actually to take scalar energy from my laboratory, broadcast it hundreds, thousands of miles at a distance, and illuminate objects at a distance. I know I can do that. It's just I have to wait for God's wisdom, God's instruction. Now, if I'm successful, imagine what that means. Just put this into forward motion. If I can take energy from one location and transfer energy at another location and illuminate an object, well, that calls to mind that we no longer need a grid system. We no longer need power plants. We no longer need satellites. We no longer need substations. We no longer need wires and cables. We can use the universe, again, this information system, to transfer energy. And once again, if we can do that with scalar energy, then we have an infinite supply of energy. We don't have to worry about fossil fuels. We don't have to consider generating power by a nuclear reactor or hydrothermal vents, if you will. Scalar energy is everywhere. We simply have to understand how to harness, how to accept and control that energy of the universe. It's everywhere. So my point is very simple. The universe is the power plant. We will never have to build another power plant ever. All we need to do is fabricate scalar energy instruments to control that energy. We have an infinite supply of energy. And again, scalar energy is clean. There's no footprint. There's no smoke. There's no residue. There's no radioactivity to it. It's not of that dimension. It's a different dimension than that of electricity. So what am I saying? In a nutshell, if I can take energy from one location and transfer it to another location and illuminate an object at a distance, we're going to see the end of the energy crisis as we know it. We will overcome this energy crisis in consummate fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
We're going to do it.
Huge.
We will do that. With God's help, we will do that. We're getting close. I'm still on the learning curve. It's an infinite science. I could study it for 1,000,000 years and just scratch the surface.
Well, but what's obvious about it is the potential, and so now what's happening, and I'm sure that people who are watching are going through this too, is suddenly musing about what all the applications might be, and if you can take this universal intelligence and you can apply it to the various different things you've been talking about, what else might be possible?
Right, exactly. The applications are incredible, far-reaching. You're right. Scalar energy has thousands, perhaps millions of applications. My contention is electricity changed the course of of history. Imagine the world without electricity. Well, thank God for the great scientists and the great minds who introduced electricity. My contention is scalar energy will have a more profound effect than that of electricity. Imagine where we're going with this. Imagine the possibilities. And I ask people to pray for that. We're getting close.
What a great interview. You really covered a lot. And I'm excited to work with you. And what else is possible? Light them up. Oh, by the way, Tom was just in Monterey. And we opened up the light bulbs and they lit up and I was in that scalar wave. It was so cool. It was really neat. You felt this awesome energy too. Yeah, it was really good.
I brought one of the instruments to California, and Sheila and I performed a demonstration while in Monterey, California, and we put it on video. And I guess we're going to release that video soon.
Oh, that's so great. Right. That's so fun. Yeah. How big is the instrument?
If I were to put it on a table, the entire operation would be probably 7.5, 8 feet in length.
Right.
Say 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sophisticated equipment, and all of it has to work in harmony. And another very interesting consideration anytime you're working with scalar energy, ratio and proportion are crucial. In order to establish a double helix of a phi spiral, which is a scalar energy wave, ratio and proportion are crucial. And in any type of engineering design, just to let people know, if you're ever going to pursue this course of study, ratio and proportion are of paramount consideration.
Which is actually so cool, because now you start moving into sacred geometry and you start moving into the golden mean. And
yes.
Yeah, and all of those things that are around and exist. Oh, is that a
sacred geometry?
Is that what is that?
This is an iConnect.
That's an iConnect. Yeah, I thought that was.
Gale and Gregory Hogue.
Right.
Love it. Yeah.
Very cool.
We'll soon. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Tom, so much for that, because I love listening to you. It's always just easy to understand, and yet I know what's flowing by me is very, very sophisticated. So I appreciate your ability to explain well. And thank you, Sheila, for bringing Tom.
My pleasure.
Yeah, he is a gem, and so appreciate you introducing him to us.
You betcha.
Thank you both.
And have a great weekend, a great week, and see you next time.
Thank you all. God bless everybody.
So I love listening to Tom. He's so clear, and it's so easy to understand. And this is such a brand new territory, really, for me. I'm like most people from the world of the electromagnetic spectrum, so it's amazing to hear that there is another form of energy out there, the scalar energy, and to just hear what the possibilities are and the potential. So if you want to learn more about Tom and want to learn more about scalar energy and what's possible, here are the websites you can go to. You can get more information. You can also find him on Sheila Gale's website. So here's that information. And thank you for joining us for another Superpowers, and we'll see you next time.